Welcome to Skydive's Introduction to the Paranormal, Episode 5, Part 1. Thank you for being here with me once again. Quick reminder, don't forget to practice meditating. As I said before, you will see why I keep reminding you once we get to level 2. By the way, you have to know that practicing or meddling in any way with the spirits is, well, it's opening a door to the world of the unknown. You have to be extra careful because, as I have said before, you do not know who and what you are dealing with in that other world. And as I have said before, and I'll keep on reminding you as we go on, that you have to be and remain respectful. Another reminder, this show is an introduction to the paranormal. Never forget that. An introduction to the spiritual side of the paranormal, and not, may I add, the dark forces. An introduction without going too far and without scaring the wits out of you. I am explaining to you, or teaching you, if you will, the basics of the paranormal. A surgeon does not start right away to operate. He's got to learn about it first. He's got to learn the different instruments, the kind of surgeries, along with the risks, and so on. Well, so do you. You must learn the basics first, and then go deeper into it. There are risks when contacting the spirits. You must be prepared, and that is something you learn in level 2. Which leads me to today's show, learning about the different tools and or equipment used during an investigation or any other event. Though I would advise you, especially if you are a newbie or a novice in this field, never be alone when communicating or meddling into one way or another. Never do it alone. When you'll be an expert, when you get to be an expert, you'll know what to do and what not to do. If you know anyone who uses or knows how to use the tools and or equipment I will be talking about, why don't you ask that person to guide you? Unless the said person is not careful and thinks this whole thing is a joke, then no, I would not advise to be around these people. Because this is not a joke. This is serious stuff. There could be consequences afterwards. Before I start, I would strongly suggest that when using whatever tool you will have, do not hold it in your hands. For example, when recording, if you move your hand, unknowingly of course, you can hear it in the recording. Then you'll think there was some kind of activity when investigating, as opposed to when you leave these tools on a flat surface, then whatever energy is around it will be heard more clearly. But make sure that everyone involved in the investigation knows that it's there, since investigations are normally done at night in the dark. Always know where you put or set up your equipment so no one around can kick it by mistake or walk too close by a table and move it by accident. This podcast is a special one as opposed to the others because this one has 2 parts to it. So, this is episode 5, part 1. So let's start. As I told you in my last podcast, episode 4, get a pen and paper to take down the information and the names of the tools I will be giving you. So if you need to look it up on the internet or directly at the store, you will know exactly what to look for with the proper names. Most of the tools or equipment that I will be talking about are used on a regular basis by paranormal investigators or ghost hunters. So, the first tool is a K2. A K2 is an electromagnetic field reader. You could be a novice or an expert when using this tool. Remember, when 1 or 2 of my other podcasts, I had explained that spirits are energy. We as humans are also energy. Our brain waves, our own body works on energy. Spirits are energy. So when using a K2, which is actually one of the easiest tools to work with, you could absolutely do a reading. Unfortunately, the one thing it does not do is record any sound. No audio whatsoever. But you can still contact the spirit with it because at the top of this tool, you see 5 different lights which are turned on in the presence of energy or a spirit. You could ask questions to the spirit and get the answer by having the light flicker or flash. Or the lights could just light up without any flashing whatsoever. If the presence is very faint, chances are you'll only see the first, maybe the second light turn on. But if there is a strong presence, if the spirit's energy is very strong, then more lights will turn on, maybe right to the end. For example, try to ask a yes/no question. Give your instructions to the spirit before questioning. Then you ask your question. If the answer is yes, the light will turn on. If the answer is no, then no lights. I strongly recommend that the K2 not be used near an electric panel or anywhere there is energy or electricity of some kind, because that can absolutely give you a false reading. Remember, the K2 works, or if you will, detects electromagnetic field. So any electrical gadgets or panel or machinery can give you a false reading. The next tool, the ghost box. The ghost box works like radio waves or FM frequencies, which makes it hard to understand because we can hear the static. I find it very hard to understand or even know who is answering the question. The best way I can explain it would be if If you have many spirits in the area where you are, then you could hear many voices all talking at the same time. I say you almost have to be an expert using that kind of ghost box. Now, there are a couple of different ghost boxes. One that shows you the answer. Just like any other tool or machinery, they get to be more sophisticated with time. So these so-called ghost boxes that have a vocabulary within the gadget, depending on the kind or brand you buy, some have a few thousand words already programmed into it. I think anywhere between 2,000 to 5,000 words, giving the spirit the opportunity of explaining itself or giving the answer with a more specific term or word. It will not give you a whole sentence, but it will give you a word or two on the display, like the display on the phone receiver. Camera. Plain camera, or with your cell phone or tablet, whichever one, that you could attach to a computer setup. This way, you could set up a few cameras all over the place, and then all videos could be downloaded into your computer in order to study the investigation more into details afterwards. By the way, just a side note, the old Polaroids were very good in ghost huntings. REM pods. They also detect the electromagnetic anomalies at close range. When a spirit is too close to the REM pod, the latter will send a high-pitched sound, and you will see the small lights on it light up. REM pods are installed on the floor or any other flat surface. They are also used in the toy, such as a teddy bear or doll, where we can use it if we want to contact a child spirit. If you move your hand close to the REM pod, you will make the high-pitched sound turn on. Or if anyone walks too close to it, it will also turn on. It also turns on when the slightest tremor is too close. So when you are investigating, make sure no one is close by. EVP, Electronic Voice Phenomenon. It actually is a recording device. You can buy any other simple plain recording device to do the job. But you must know that when handling an EVP or a recording device, as I said at the beginning, it is best to have it on a flat surface. The reason I'm telling you this again is because if you hold it while recording and you happen to move your hand, you can hear the movement sound on the recording. When you play back the recordings, sometimes the spirit's answer could be very loud, enough that you can hear it very well. But sometimes it is so faint that you need to play often or even have earplugs to really hear what the answer could be. That's why it's important to not hold the recording device in your hands while investigating. Of course, sometimes you don't always have a choice if you move from room to room. If you do move it, and you are aware of having it moved, then specify that the noise that will be heard was because you moved. This way, when you play it back, you will know that the noise that you heard on the recording was not done by the spirit. But if you are to stay in a specific room or area, I strongly suggest you have it on a flat surface. Now, because the podcasts are timed anywhere between 15 and 20 minutes, I will have to continue episode 5 for next time. So if you follow my podcast, then look for episode 5, part 2. So, before I leave you, there is a little saying I made up on my own that I like to tell my students when class is over. Good night, sleep tight, don't let the ghosts bite your toes. Till next time, everyone.